There we
Alright.
go. Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah Summers, board member of the AKLU, and I'm here with Jen Casey, who is the co-founder of Georgia Kettlebell Sport and also runs Bell Slingers, Southern
Mm-hmm.
Bells, and also Jingle Bells
Yep.
competitions in the Atlanta, Georgia area. So we're here to talk about her events and the state of kettlebell sport in Georgia right now. So, Jen, if you want to just give us a little introduction about yourself, how long you've been
Um,
lifting and all that.
my first competition was in 2013
Wow.
here in Georgia. I met my business partner, the lovely co-founder Lisa Frank, that year as well when she came to the gym where I was working and training. And I kind of got into it then. At the time in Georgia, there was one event a year run by a great guy named Scott Shetler,
I know
and
him.
you know
Yeah.
him, yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was my first experience. I met some people at that event who later became teammates, which is kind of funny. I don't know if they would remember me, but I remember them. And I keep waiting for my kettlebell phase to dwindle, but it has not yet. So,
I know, right? I started in
yeah.
2016 and still going. Still
Yeah,
going.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so my early career was, we did that. I did that first event in 2013, and then Lisa and I, we became training partners and fast friends, and I call her my kettle BFF or my kettlebell partner in crime, and she puts up with a lot from me. And then in February of 2014, we traveled to the Bay Area and went to one of the infamous ice chamber events, which was fantastic. It was amazing, and competed there. And that was like an all day six platform type event. We had never seen anything like that. And I did our once a year event here, and we traveled here and there. In 2015, we went to the Arnold when they had that up there, which of course was crazy and fantastic. And then somewhere around that time, Scott was looking to move on to other projects, and with his awareness and blessing, kind of said, hey, if I don't really want to run competitions in Atlanta. And I was young and naive back then. And I thought, well, surely I can do this. How hard could it be? And we were working with another organization, and it kind of fell through kind of suddenly. But in November of 2015, so we're coming up on 10 years, we sort of threw our first accidental competition. And it was seven lifters. Me and Lisa were two of them, one of my youth lifters at the time, and we just did it like in between classes at the gym where I worked, which was crazy just because, we had a whole bunch of people who, when the event organizer, kind of decided not to do it at the last minute, a bunch of people dropped out, but a bunch of people were like, listen, we've been training, we're gonna do it. So we threw that together, and then in 2016 we made Georgia Kettlebell Sport like an official organization and started throwing our own events on
10 years.
purpose.
That's, yeah, on purpose.
Yes,
That's
on purpose.
important.
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, so what was that? What was your the first competition you ran? Which one was it?
So
And
the very first, well, the accidental or the on purpose?
on purpose.
The
Yeah.
on purpose, we actually did a bolt competition for our first
Oh,
event.
nice.
Yeah, so we connected with Nico and all the Bolt people, and we had a friend who had a gym space, and we thought, this is a great way to kind of introduce people to sport because it's multi-switch. And
Mhm.
I think we did Ironman, and then we ended up with that weekend. Brittany von Schravendijk came out, and she did a kettlebell workshop the next day, so we had like a whole kind of weekend of it. Is I think July of 2016. I have a really good head for dates, so
Excellent.
that part's like generally
Mhm.
there. And
Yeah.
and then I don't know if we did another one that year. We might have done another more because I prefer traditional sport. I'm a 10-minute kind of kid. No shade against the multi-switch or the marathoners or any of that, but I like a 10 minutes. I like to know it's
Mhm.
going to be over, 10 minutes. But we did run a couple of sport events once or twice a year. And depending now it's kind of evolved. We have two big ones every year. Uh Bell Slingers is in the summer and Jingle Bells is in the winter. And this year we had Southern Bells in March, which we ran as a sanctioned event with AKLU. Yep,
Mhm.
that's one. To help some of us, me, qualify for the WKSF
Mhm.
team that went to
And
Italy.
you did an amazing job.
Thank you.
So,
I did.
yeah.
Yeah, that was an amazing trip. I had gone to South Korea and Latvia before
Oh,
the pandemic. And so I had done that, but I thought, and I'd qualified a few more times, but I never thought I would ever be able to compete at that high level event ever again. And I wanted to do it just like one more time. And it didn't hurt that this year I leveled up in my master's division. So I competed with 12 kilos and
yeah, I'm
um,
waiting to age into Master of
I'm
Sport.
telling you, it's the way to go. Yeah, no, it was absolutely amazing. That was my first WKSF event. The other two
Okay.
are IKL. And yeah, and just to be able to compete in this weird little sport that nobody's ever
Mhm.
heard of
Right.
at a high level, it's and help grow it, here in the southeast region
Mhm.
of the US is just it's fun. And I keep
And
waiting. Yeah. Go
sorry.
ahead.
And just to tell our audience, how many lifts did you do on Saturday?
Yeah, I did one on Friday and I
Yeah.
thought, okay, yeah, it's a good warm up. And then
Good.
in the morning on Saturday, this is in Italy this past summer, I did biathlon. So double jerk, rest, what was it, like an hour or so? And then I did my snatch set. And then I found out later I set the world record in the double jerk,
Yes,
which
you
I was
did.
never in a million
Yeah.
years thought that was not on my bingo card.
Mhm.
And then I had a couple hours break and I had signed up for military snatch because I thought, hey, that's kind of different. It's multi-switch, it's 12 minutes. And really, I've been coming back from some health issues. So my bell weight is really 16. So I thought, well, if I train for military snatch, it'll give me a reason to keep up with 16s
Mhm.
as, and everything. And also 2 weeks before Italy, I sprained my ankle. It was the whole thing. And then so I signed up for military snatch, and about a month before the event, Kim called me and said, "So if they in your master's division, if you want the master's lift, you have to lift 12 kilo, and you could do the open division with 16." And I had been training for a 16 military snatch. So I was like, sure, I'll do both, right? Like I'm already training with 16, so how hard could 12 kilo
Mhm.
be? And then I saw the flight schedule like a week or so, a couple weeks, whenever they published it, and they were in back-to-back flights. So after doing biathlon in the morning, in the afternoon, I did 16 kilo military snatch. And I got off the platform and then they were loading everybody onto the next flight. And I was asking the judge, which one am I on? Because I had to do it immediately after, like with no rest. And even when I was checking in for that first flight, I was like, you won't find me because I'll be on the platform. And during the 16 set, I was starting to rip. So I slowed my pace down. I did it. I did the whole 12 minutes. And then during so my fourth lift of the day was this 12 kilo snatch. And then I definitely I ripped about 3 or 4 minutes in both hands.
Mhm.
And then, so I hit nowhere near my numbers on those at all. I think I still placed though, which is wild. And then, but I did both 12-minute sets.
You
Right?
did. You did. You did all four
I
lifts.
did all four lifts.
It
And
was
then
an amazing feat of strength.
it was
So,
crazy. Yeah. And then the next day I was so tired the next
yeah.
day. Yeah, and it was pretty epic, honestly. It was fun to be there. The crowds were amazing. The team was
Mhm.
amazing. It was fun to represent GKS and,
Mhm.
the US and see a lot of people I hadn't seen in a while from, outside the US, friends I had made at
Mhm.
other world championships. And oh my gosh, it was so cool. I hope I can get back there. Probably not next year, but I will
Yeah.
continue to try to qualify.
Mhm.
And who knows if the stars align and I can afford it, I'll go back
Mhm.
when I can.
Yeah. It was an experience. It was an amazing experience.
It
It was
was
honestly the most fun I'd had lifting in a long time. And I didn't
seriously
expect
me
that.
too.
Yeah, I didn't expect that to happen at a world championship. So,
No,
yeah, I thought it'd be
no.
like a bundle of nerves. And I was just like, this is amazing. Like, people from all over the world are cheering for me. And like, I'm lifting against like with these amazing people.
Right.
And it was just, it was very invigorating and
It was.
yeah,
There were
very invigorating.
the biathlon flights I was on. I mean, it was just this. What was it, 9 platforms? I don't remember, so 9 or 10.
Yeah,
Like,
8.
I'm on the platforms with these amazing women, and we're all in our 50s and 60s. And we were even back, in the warm-up area, just like, look at us. Like, we're
Hmm.
freaking showing women what is possible at our age. And I was one of the younger ones, right? And
Hmm.
like, and to go up there and lift alongside these women, some of whom I've known, some I had just met, and be part of that, like there's no words for like how absolutely freaking amazing that was. And to just know, like, no matter how we did, we were all cheering each other on, even if we didn't get the numbers we wanted, or she got first place, I got second, but whatever. Nobody
Hmm.
cared because it was like a moment where I even paid for the professional pictures of
Hmm.
that picture they took right before we went on of
Yeah.
the whole flight of this beautiful, badass women that I was privileged to be a part of. And it like I'm not sure I've ever experienced anything that amazing.
Hmm.
And then one of them, after I did that back-to-back crazy snatch set, like she came running out of the bleachers, like,
Hmm.
oh my God, that was great. It's like, and to just know, like, we all had each other's backs. It was just absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
And what did it mean to qualify for that event, like in with your club, with your team, with your organization?
I mean, you know, it's so we're like right now the kind of the only game in town, and it's not,
Mhm.
so there's other clubs. My dear friend Ermi across town, and her gym is going to host Jingle Bells. So
Oh,
we
wonderful.
we love each other. When
Mhm.
I started Georgia Kettlebell Sport, when Lisa and I started it, my vision was, at least in Atlanta, we would have clubs all over and we could kind of
Mhm.
have friendly competitions and things like that. But we really we've had other clubs in North Carolina and Tennessee and Florida, kind of, yes, and then they go away, So right now
Mhm.
we're kind of the only place in the Southeast
Mhm.
that it's easy to get to for this. And so, it makes me feel more dedicated to continuing it, even though, in March we did our qualifier as part of a strength sports expo.
Yes, I
So
do remember that. Yeah.
it was an hour north of here, almost on the border of Tennessee. It was a completely different part of Georgia that we've ever been. There was strongman there and powerlifting, and we were there too. And we had people from the strongman and powerlifting, the lifters and the coaches and the audience, like, come watch us. Like, the guy who organized the whole event, I was doing double jerk, right? Because I was trying to
Mhm.
qualify for
Right.
Italy. And he stood and watched my whole 10-minute double jerk
Wow.
set. And I wasn't at that point sure I could make the whole 10 minutes because it had been a week. There was a lot going on. And I was just glad to make 10 minutes. 20? Oh my gosh, I can't. I really am a 10-minute lifter. My brain isn't working. But he came up to me later. He's like, there's no way I could do it. This is a guy who's like deadlifts 500 pounds or something. And he
Mhm.
was like, that is a whole different like thing.
Mhm.
So, and Lisa and I we've had events at other sports expos before
Okay.
in Atlanta, and it's just a great way to like showcase what we do and
Hmm.
bring the sport in front of new eyes. So that was really, really cool. And we love to do those events when we can.
Hmm.
And then, to then like do well enough to qualify was great, and if
Hmm.
and if we hadn't had that event, I would have found another way to participate and try to
Right.
qualify. But it is nice to do it in person with my team, my athletes. I coach youth as well. So my son and his friend, like, they're all like cheering you on, and it just makes you, and then and that particular event in front of all these other people I've never seen, it
Hmm.
makes you work harder,
Right.
because I got to represent this,
Right.
again, this weird little sport nobody's ever heard of, right?
Amazing.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the kettlebell community in Georgia. So how would you describe it? Like, what do you do? Who's a member? I don't know. Just describe
Yeah.
your Georgia kettlebell community.
We have, we're in the Atlanta area. And like
Hmm.
I said, Ermi, my good friend, she actually was competed at one of our early Bolt events. That's how she kind of
Wow.
learned about
Hmm.
it. And they had a kettlebell class at her gym. And of course she's gone and she holds world records all over the place. She's a marathon type person.
Mm.
Love her. Those people love them. I'm still 10 minutes. But uh we're very close. Like whenever even the people all over Atlanta and Georgia who come are regulars. We may not see them for months and months and months, and then they come walking into the competition and everybody's hugging each other. And like one of the guys, so at my very first competition in 2013, I was absolutely blown away by watching a woman do 16-kilo one arm long cycle for 10 minutes on one arm because she had broken her arm a
Mm.
couple weeks before, right? And I met her and her husband at that event. Well, they came to Southern Bells in March
Mm.
with their two daughters,
Oh.
and their oldest daughter lifted with us, and he's in Knoxville, Tennessee. And Jonathan Moorhead, I don't know if you people know him, but he was one of Jason Dolby's students, or maybe still is. And so it's like, and I hadn't seen Jonathan in person in probably since before the pandemic.
Hmm.
So when he walks into that space, I mean, we were just, Lisa and I were just like, wow, it was just like, it's like a family reunion kind of. And even my immediate team, the ones who train with me at my gym or with, in my immediate part of Atlanta,
Hmm.
I coach a lot of them and, just watching their progress, and we're all really close. And, Lisa and I have a favorite restaurant in nearby that when we have business meetings, we call it
Hmm.
headquarters. We're going to go to headquarters and eat
Hmm.
Greek food while we have a GKS meeting. Like, I
Hmm.
don't know, it's like a family. And every time, almost every single competition we've ever run, on purpose or not,
Hmm.
we have had at least one brand new lifter. I think there was only one event where we didn't get somebody who was
Oh,
brand new.
that's
So,
amazing.
and I love to track that number
Hmm.
because the more, even if they don't come back, right, the
Hmm.
more people who just try it once,
Hmm.
the more exposure our sport gets, and the more that, we try to run our events and make them, beginner friendly,
Hmm.
even family friendly, because um, one of the things I like about our sport is it can be done, from a relatively young age all the way to, you're
Hmm.
way past my master's division,
Hmm.
right? And I love to see the families lifting together. And um you know it really is, it is a community. And we,
Hmm.
again, even if we don't see each other for a while, comp day comes up, people come strolling in the gym, and everybody's like, and
That's
it's
my
it's fun.
favorite. It's my absolute favorite. When like there's they're your community, right? They're your kettlebell friends. They like you said, you don't get to see them very often, but it's the most amazing day when you get to spend a day lifting with them and you see them
Yeah.
walking into the gym. So,
Yeah, and then you can see what they've been working on, and my snatch numbers are higher this time, or I've got this or that going on. But sometimes I'm here for the competition. I was not able to train, but damn it, we're having a competition,
Mhm.
so I'm gonna drop a bell weight and do my best.
Yeah.
Great, and sometimes it's just about coming together to lift. And then we always do, after our events, there's restaurants nearby now that we just go to after. So
Hmm.
anybody who wants to come, bring the kids, our out of towners are welcome. And then we get together at headquarters, the Greek place near us, or there's a Venezuelan restaurant over near Ermi. And we just go there, and we put that into our emails. It's like after the event, if you can join us, come on over. And we hang around and,
Mhm.
eat because we're all hungry and
Mhm.
rehash the event and, oh, what's happening with so and so, and oh, did you compete there? Or, all of that stuff. So we try to make it like a connection event beyond just the actual lifting.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell me about your youth program that you've alluded to.
Well, I mean, so I run a youth program, and I have for many, many years in like strength. I'm a strength and conditioning coach for kids, and I have trained many youth athletes in kettlebell sport, including all three of my kids. My
Wonderful.
oldest boy has the most beautiful rack position. It's so annoying, and he will not compete. It's just annoying.
Oh,
My daughter uh, has done a ton of competitions. Her first one, she was 9, I think.
oh wow.
This is before they had the smaller size kettlebells and stuff.
Mhm.
And then my youngest son is 17 and he is actively competing with us now. So you might,
That's
if you looked on
fantastic.
our stuff, you'd see him.
Mhm.
Um, and what I like to do, again, I try to make our events like family friendly as well. So, and as a youth strength and conditioning coach, I really don't train my youth until they're, past middle school, about late
Okay.
middle school, early high school, in terms of progressive overload, lots of interval, like the
Okay.
way that you and I train.
Right.
We don't do that with they're little and they're younger. And I say little, I mean under 13, and they're in my program. They learn how to swing a kettlebell. They learn how to do one arm movements like clean and press.
Mhm.
Um, at weights that are safe for them, but there's no rep goal, there's no pacing. It's just in the
Mhm.
same way I teach them how to use a dumbbell or how to do a body weight squat. Partly because like I want to be careful with their growing bodies and repetitive stress and load and things like that. And then also kids have so many sport options, right? And
Mhm. Yeah.
one thing that happens is that it can be real easy to get burnt out, right?
Mhm.
And kettlebell sport, as you know, is real hard. It's harder than it
Mhm.
looks. And so I don't want them until and unless they're wanting to sort of take on that next level of intensity. I don't want them to burn out.
Right.
But we've had so many competitions where, our first flight will be kids. And it's
That's
all,
I love the
typically
kid
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yep. And I let them do whatever they want.
Hmm.
They can switch their
Exactly.
hands. They can like, sometimes it's 5 minutes of cleans.
Hmm.
Sometimes they forget what they're doing and they'll do a bunch of different ones or put it down accidentally or run and get chalk or whatever. Do not care. It's not about that. What it's
Hmm.
about is giving them a moment to shine and have everybody clapping and calling their names. Because again, as a youth coach, um, that is the kind of encouragement and support
Hmm.
that can help a child make a connection between I'm doing something physical and I might be out of breath and it might be hard, but I'm feeling really good about myself while I'm doing it.
Hmm.
And so I'm trying to, do that. And
Hmm.
then when they get to be, a little bit older and if they have interest, I never push it, not even on my own kids if they have interest. And so like right now, my son and another teenage boy that I'm coaching, they're 16, 17, they're pretty serious about it, and so I
Nice.
am giving them like
Hmm.
my kind of training
Yeah.
and they're just but their bodies are ready finally.
Right.
However, they're both kind of late growers,
Mm.
and so like, that's where I wish some of the, as the sport grows, I would love to see some of the world leagues and our national leagues like do some youth only events. Like right now we're not ready, not even at the
Hmm.
world level, but also events where the weights are not determined by their age
Mm.
because again the boys that I'm coaching now are just past 16 into 20s.
Hmm.
They're excellent lifters. I mean, they're
Right.
beautiful.
Hmm.
And yet I don't want to put them under 24s for a
Right.
lot of time right now.
Right.
So I have to
Hmm.
kind of play that game. Now, if
Yeah.
I've had other kids who were the same age and giant and could handle 24. But
But each
when you
here
weigh
in the UK.
right, exactly. But when you weigh 130 pounds
Right.
soaking wet,
Hmm.
and you know what I mean? Like I've
Yeah.
got to kind of play that game. But again, like they're real and so they're hoping to qualify for the marathon team because there's going to
Oh,
be an event
wonderful.
in the United States
I'm
in
trying to
May.
qualify for that too. Yeah.
So they're both training for that because that's a better option for them given where they are in their athletic career.
Yeah. So that's actually a really good segue into Jingle Bells because
Okay.
it's an AKLU sanctioned event. You
Hmm.
can qualify for the US team, use the AKLU ranking table,
Yep.
but you are also partnering with Judy DeMuro, if I understand, if you want to talk a
Yep.
little bit about that.
Yeah, so because we do have a fair number of my athletes that I coach directly or people in part of our Swing Fit program, which is
Mhm.
the kettlebell fitness program that I run as well, they, they're marathon. Like last year, was it last year they went to Belgium about a year ago,
Oh, yeah.
and fully half of the US team was from the state of Georgia.
Oh, that's amazing.
I
Yeah.
mean, it was like for real. They had like 16 people and like seven, eight, or nine of us
Hmm.
were from Georgia. So,
Hmm.
we have a lot of marathoners. Again, love them so much.
Yes.
Um, and so I wanted to create opportunities. So I kind of reached out to Judy and I said, listen, we're running this as an AKLU sanction event, for WKSF, but I have a lot of people who would love to be able to qualify in person. So, including my two teenage athletes, because they're trying to qualify for double pentathlon. And with her agreement, I know, and blessing, if
Hmm.
if they compete with us in person at Jingle Bells,
Okay. Yeah.
um, they have to do in person. If they're going to be a virtual, we always do virtual event options as well, but the virtual ones will not be able to qualify for IKMF with Jingle
Right.
Bells. They
Yeah,
have to go.
that is a new rule for the Worlds this year.
Yeah.
Is no more video qualifications.
Is
So
that for AKLU WKSF as well, or
no,
oh,
no,
just for
it's
them? Okay,
that is at the discretion of the national committees.
gotcha. Okay,
Um, so we are still continuing with you can qualify for amateur and masters lifts
right,
virtually, but not professional. Professional you
right.
do need to do in person.
Yeah, and I see both sides of it
Hmm.
honestly, and when COVID hit, kettlebell sport is a great social distancing sport, right?
Hmm.
You don't want to get too close, right?
Right.
That's kind of when the virtual options happened, and we just kept going with it because Um, sometimes it is hard. I remember talking to Eduardo about this way back when we got the WKSF
Hmm.
thing, and he was like, just have everybody go to one competition. I was like, we're a really large country.
Hmm.
Like, really,
Yeah.
even if we had, and we did, I think a couple years ago, a Florida, a Kansas, and Seattle, I think, right?
Hmm.
That's still a very hard,
Yes. Yeah.
thing for travel,
Hmm.
and so I like having that option because, if it just means you can train and put in a set and do your effort, right? And yet I see like, especially at the elite levels, you got to have, you got to walk in and
Right.
and show what you can do.
Correct.
And,
Yeah.
there's pros and cons of virtual too. You don't have the crowd cheering you on,
Hmm.
unless you
Yeah.
hire your neighbors or whatever. But
Or your
and
cat sitting there like, play with me. What are you
right,
doing?
I've
Okay.
I've seen a lot of people lift virtually over the last 5, 6 years, and
Yeah.
there have been a few times where people have an audience in the background. You can hear them clapping and
Yeah.
everything. This is cool.
Hmm.
So yeah, but we will always, until there really isn't a demand for it, we'll always kind of have that option.
Hmm.
Um, and just because it is nice, and I just judge them the next day and then
Yeah.
move
I
on.
mean, the US is a very, very large country,
Yeah,
and a lot of it's accessibility. You
yeah,
want to have the sport to be you want the sport to be accessible,
right.
and technology gives us that option.
Yeah,
And also, we're asking you, like, we're not a funded sport. We're
right.
asking you to pay for a trip to Italy, but then you
Right.
might spend the same amount of money to qualify given the size of the US and all of that stuff. So,
That's absolutely true.
yeah.
That was my point. That's
Mhm.
always been my contention. If it costs me, $800 to fly to, where I'm in Atlanta. So let's just
Hmm.
say Seattle, right?
Right.
That's easy. Well, I'm flying to my dad's in a couple weeks, and that's in Wisconsin. It was like $600 ticket,
Yeah.
right? Like that's money I can use to go to Italy,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
And yet, there's until our sport is bigger,
Yeah.
I don't see a way around that.
Right. Hmm.
I'm open to the ideas, of course. But of course, we prefer to have people come to us if they can, right?
Yes, a
Even
hundred percent.
Atlanta,
Yeah.
yeah, even Atlanta, which it has the world's craziest airport or
Yes.
largest or whatever it is.
Hmm.
I call it craziest airport.
Hmm.
I live a good hour from that airport
Right.
on a good day, right?
Hmm.
Depending on when you
Hmm.
land. Yeah, Atlanta's easy to get to. It is. It is. You can always find a flight to Atlanta, but there's rental cars and hotels and traffic
Hmm.
and, all that. So, you know, when I look at what we're doing here in Georgia and the greater Southeast is like we're still exposing people to the
Hmm.
sport, and we're trying to make our events as fun as possible, but we're trying to make it as inclusive as and easy to participate as possible.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Um, so okay. Jingle Bells is
Yep.
your next competition.
Mhm.
When is that?
That is December 6th.
Okay.
That's a Saturday, and it will be at Ermy's Gym, CrossFit Johns Creek this
Nice.
year.
Hmm.
Um, One thing too, because we usually run our competitions at gyms that have Saturday morning classes.
Hmm.
Our competitions tend to start at like 11.
That's
Like
great.
weigh-ins start
Yes.
at 11. Yeah. So we got that going for it. You know, have to get up super early.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we do weigh-ins starting at 11. We usually start our first flight around 1.
Hmm.
And, our competitions tend to be between 12 and 20 people in person,
Okay.
depending. And we've
Hmm.
been very steady at that attendance rate minus COVID blips
Hmm.
for lots of years now. We've had some bigger ones, we've
Hmm.
had some smaller ones, and then we'll usually pick up anywhere from 5 to 10 more virtual lifters.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a really great competition for like that small like community, not like a huge intimidating competition. It's just like
Yeah.
a great group of people who love the sport, lifting together.
Yeah, we try to make it fun
Hmm.
and chill.
Hmm.
We have snacks, we have fun music, but it is having competed at Worlds and other intimidating places like the Arnold's, like
Hmm.
you can save that pressure for another event.
Yeah.
Right now,
Yes.
we want you to try it out. We want you to think it's fun. We want you to think we're fun.
Hmm.
So, at Bell Slingers, which was in July, I had a friend, I hadn't seen her. Our daughters did theater together like 8 years ago or something. I hadn't
Hmm.
seen her forever. She dragged her friend who's a chiropractor who uses kettlebells. They came and just watched because she and I were stayed connected over Instagram, right? And so we want all the parents and the fan club, and we want the your chiropractor to come with you and watch or whatever. Like we actually have I think he's gonna compete at Jingle Bell. I haven't talked to him recently, but he's a DJ in Atlanta.
Oh,
He
nice.
competed at Bell Slingers not this past summer, but in
Hmm.
24, and he talked about it on his Insta and
Oh,
everything. And
that's
I was like,
great.
oh, this is really
That's,
cool.
yeah.
So we just want to make it easy and
Hmm.
fun
That's
and
great. Yeah.
like friendly,
Hmm.
I would say. And we don't have the biggest trophies, we don't have the gold medal, we don't even have platforms. We usually just use
Put
the
tape on the ground. Yeah.
exactly,
Yes.
so it is, and we are like a bare bones operation, but but that also I think can make it a little less intimidating, I
Hmm.
hope.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's so interesting talking to you about your event after talking to Nikolai and Dana about the All-American Kettlebell Open, which is
I'm
this
sure.
huge event, a
Right.
huge expo, you know,
Yeah.
like lifters from all over the world. And then,
Mhm.
It's so great talking to you, and it's just about like community building and whoever we can,
Yeah.
and like
And
just
and
great,
I love those events too. And like
yeah, and
I
just
will go to All American one time. I when what
yes,
happened this time, but
yeah. I,
yeah.
I I really feel like there's a place for everyone
Oh yeah.
in kettlebell sport in every competition, and it's really just about a 10-minute lift at Jingle Bells is the same as a 10-minute lift at AAKO. Like
Yeah.
it's the same blood, sweat, and tears, the same training that goes into it. It's just like it's just there's all kinds of different cultures and not
Yeah.
cultures, but like communities and things like
Yeah. And
that. Yeah.
like I'm just, I'm describing us as fun and friendly and inclusive,
Hmm.
and we are, and yet we are serious lifters, right?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
I take my lifting very seriously.
Uh-huh.
I think I'm a pretty good lifter.
Yes, you are.
Lisa's a very excellent lifter. Like we always, Lisa and I, ever since we started competing together and travel, we always just wanted to put on a good set. And
Hmm.
we would often, get compliments on our lifting. Like, so we are very serious athletes. We train
Yes.
hard, we take it seriously, but
Hmm.
like ultimately, it's a Saturday afternoon,
Hmm.
you paid some money,
Yeah.
you might as well have fun with it too,
Yes. Hmm.
So I don't want to give anyone the impression that we're not serious lifters because we are.
No. Oh, that was never in doubt.
Okay.
That's why I had everyone describe your feat of strength at Worlds.
Oh,
So,
right. I still
no,
can't believe
it's
I did
like you've got like a small but quality
Yes,
lifting community in Georgia. That's
exactly.
really what I wanted to highlight with this interview as well.
Mhm.
It's not just like your competitions are reflective of your community down there.
Yeah.
Small, but um, professional and fun and intense with the lifting
Yes,
and
we are.
serious. Yeah. Everything
Yeah.
and family friendly. So,
Yes, exactly. And we're
yes.
gonna go get Greek food after.
Yes.
And yeah, and that's the thing. Like the athletes I coach, especially Sean and Connor right now, my youth
Mhm.
athletes, like they are beautiful lifters. Now,
Mhm.
like everyone, can they make some improvements? Of course. But like
Yeah.
it's about when I train them, we're looking for quality reps and when
Mhm.
we take that seriously and so do they. That's
Yeah.
why I don't worry about the little kids. Who cares? Just get up there,
Yeah,
right?
they're just cute. It's
They're
just
cute. Oh,
I
exactly.
love the kid. I love the
I
child.
mean,
Like when you have like a whole flight of the kids
it's
and
amazing. I love it. It makes me
it's
so
the
happy.
most, yes, exactly. I rarely judge at my own event, but I love judging the kid flight. Like I will do that. Yes.
Oh yeah, 100%. I usually will MC those and I'll like say, "Well, there's so and so on platform
Yes.
one."
And oh
Go!
my
And I make
gosh.
everybody, like I try to do that because then the
Hmm.
kid is like looking around like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
Oh,
ooh,
that's
gonna be fun."
me. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, but we always want to make sure that our lifting is high
Hmm.
quality, excellent.
Hmm. Yes, that's amazing. Anything else you want to add about your event in December?
Um, well, I will say we did Bell Slingers at CrossFit Johns Creek, and they have a brand new facility, so it's really nice.
Ooh, nice.
And climate controlled, which is a change for some of us. And yeah, and just to thank Ermi and CrossFit Johns Creek for like being again, my dream when I started this was to have clubs all over Atlanta
Hmm.
and and do kind of it'll be at your gym this month and my gym next month and whatever and right now we've only got the two places but that's a start
Yes,
more than many
definitely.
cities I think
Yeah.
and just to have that camaraderie with them but it's really a fun event. It's a good time to come to Atlanta if you think you might want to travel. It's very warm here compared to many
Hmm.
other places at the beginning of
Hmm.
December.
Hmm.
And we love to see our out of towners join us. We often have somebody, at least somebody from out of town,
Hmm.
come and join us. And then I'm not sure if we're going to, well, we'll have Bell Slingers for sure next summer, and then we're
Hmm.
trying to figure out where and when Southern Bells might happen again.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, Jen, thank you so much for talking with me.
Thank you. It was
And
nice to see
we're
your face again.
yeah, AKLU is just very excited for this your events.
Yes, we
Multiple.
yes, exactly.
Yes. and to really highlight your community down there in Georgia. So thank you again.
Thank you. You're welcome.